You wake up, look at your watch. It seems like you slept for 8 hours. Everything seems to be according to the rules, but tired. The same heaviness in your body that was before going to bed. The same foggy head. You get out of bed not rested, but as if you unloaded train cars all night. Sound familiar? You are not lazy. You are not unproductive. There is nothing wrong with you. You just fell into one of the most insidious traps of the modern world. This video will not only explain why you constantly feel tired, but also give you specific steps on how to get out of this swamp, even if you have little time, motivation, and energy. Step 1. Sleep quantity does not equal sleep quality. Here's the catch. We're used to thinking, okay, if I sleep 7 or 8 hours, I'll get enough sleep. But sleep quality is more important than sleep quantity. You can sleep 9 hours and still wake up exhausted. Why? Because your sleep is not a solid line, but a cycle of 4 phases. And if your cycles are disrupted, you're not getting deep, restorative sleep, even if you've been lying in bed for half a day. What can kill your sleep quality without you even realizing it? First, your screen before bed. The blue light from your phone or laptop disrupts the production of melatonin, the hormone that helps your body fall asleep. Even 5 minutes on TikTok before bed can cost you an hour of deep sleep. Second, the temperature in the room. Your body needs to cool down to fall into deep sleep. If it's hot, your brain won't be able to fall into the right phases. Add coffee 6 hours before bed, alcohol at night, anxious thoughts, constant noise from the street. And you get sleep in time, but not sleep in quality. Your battery seems to be charging, but only by 30%. And you go into the new day already half dead. And what's worse, you begin to perceive this state as the norm. Waking up tired becomes a routine. You stop expecting anything more from sleep than just surviving until tomorrow. But in fact, good sleep is like a free superpower. It affects everything. Your memory, mood, immunity, hormones, even the way you look. If you sleep poorly, you become more irritable, anxious, slow. Your concentration decreases, decisions work worse, and your reaction slows down to the level of a person slightly intoxicated. And what's even more interesting, when you regularly do not get enough sleep, you lose the ability to understand how tired you are. It's called the adaptive degradation effect. The brain is like, okay, we're always at 60%, so that's normal. And you continue to live in this energy zombie mode until one day you break down. That's why improving the quality of your sleep is not a luxury, it's a foundation. And the first step is to stop treating sleep as something secondary, because everything in your life is built on it. Step 2. Fatigue accumulates not in the body, but in the brain. You can do nothing physically, but feel like you've just unloaded train cars. Why? Because the main fatigue in modern people is mental. And here it's even trickier. Every second, your brain processes thousands of signals. Notifications, correspondence, thoughts about tomorrow, worries, desires. It's in overload mode since the morning. Even if you're just scrolling the feed, your brain is working, filtering, comparing, evaluating. This is more tiring than a treadmill. And if you don't give it relief, silence, switching, it starts to malfunction. That's where the feeling of fatigue comes from. You wake up, but it's as if you've already worked all day. The brain is like a muscle. It can't be tense for 16 hours straight. It needs switching, walks, silence, reflection, conscious pauses. If you don't rest mentally, you will always be tired, even if you haven't strained yourself physically. The problem is that we leave almost no space for our brain to recover. Even in our free minutes, we check our phones, listen to something in the background, read, scroll, absorb. It seems like we are resting, but in fact, we continue to load ourselves with new information. The brain never switches off. It doesn't get even a minute of silence to digest what has accumulated. And if you constantly load the system and don't clear the cache, it will start to slow down. This is what happens to us. Thoughts become viscous, motivation disappears, and mood falls. This is not laziness. This is overload. And the only way to get out of this state is to learn to give your brain a real rest, without a screen, without noise. At least 10 to 15 minutes a day of complete silence and doing nothing can be more powerful than any energy drink. Step 3. Your energy is leaking through invisible holes. Do you know what an energy leak looks like? It's not always extreme fatigue. It can be mild irritation, procrastination, a constant background of anxiety, and inability to concentrate. The most common energy leaks are not always obvious. Let's start with toxic information, news, scandalous videos, negativity in the comments. It seems that you are just reading or watching, but in fact each such contact is a drop of poison that drips into your mental tank. Then there are unfinished business. The brain remembers everything. An unwashed cup, an unread message, a promise you made to yourself but never fulfilled. All this hangs in your RAM, like open tabs in a browser, and slowly eats up resources. You can take vitamins, sleep for 8 hours, even meditate. But if there are constant energy leaks in your life, all this will not work. It's like pouring water into a bucket without a bottom. True recovery begins not with adding, but with eliminating. Turn off unnecessary noise, close hanging tasks. Give up control where it is impossible. The fewer leaks, the purer your inner focus, the higher your real energy. Step 4. You confuse recovery with escapism. Many people think they are resting, but in reality, they are simply escaping from reality. Lying on the couch and watching YouTube does not always mean resting. Because if it is procrastination, if it is an escape from tasks, you are not resting. You are straining yourself even more, only in the background. Real rest is restoration, not entertainment. It may be boring, yes, it may not bring immediate pleasure, but it is what charges you. Examples of real restoration are a walk in silence, without headphones, slow stretching, mindful journaling, or just sitting for 10 minutes, observing your breath. You are not lazy, you just don't know how to rest. And while your rest is just a form of escape, your brain does not recover, and you wake up the next day at 0 again. That's why even after a whole day of doing nothing, you feel squeezed. Because rest isn't just inactivity, it's restoration. And scrolling through your feed isn't rest. It's just a new form of brain strain. Step 5. Fatigue is not an enemy. It is a signal. The most important thing to understand is that fatigue is not a mistake. It is not a failure. It is a signal. The body does not break just like that. It whispers to you, I am overloaded. I do not have time to recover. Help me. And if you continue to ignore this signal, the body begins to scream. First with apathy, then with chronic diseases, then with burnout. And then no coffee will save you. Here's what's really amazing. As soon as you slow down a little, listen to yourself and stop chasing everything in sight, the body begins to recover. It knows what to do. It just needs to be left alone. If you've watched this far, it means a small revolution has already begun inside you. You will no longer accept eternal fatigue as the norm. You will start asking, what can I do differently? And here's your first step. Choose one moment today when you simply stop, without a phone, without tasks. Just a pause. Let it be 3 minutes. But this will be the beginning of new energy, new life. Because you are not created to live on autopilot. You are created to live with clarity, strength, and inner resource.